What's up everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out. I want to showcase here today something a little bit more in-depth regarding the Insta360 GO 2. Some of the settings within Pro Mode, some of the importing options within the Insta360 Studio App, and of course, how to export your Insta360 GO videos with the best quality possible. If you haven't seen my video about the Insta360 GO 2, check the link in the description after this video, and of course don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, as mentioned in my previous video, this is by far my favorite camera for capturing moments while being in the moment, and while the Insta360 GO 2 makes it incredibly accessible and unintrusive to start vlogging and recording your videos with minimal efforts, some of us at times might want to dial it in a little bit and get a little bit better quality footage, and that's when Pro Mode kicks in. And once you land in Pro Mode, you can actually start recording by pressing on your record button, but if you hold it down for about 2 seconds, it expands and allows you to make some adjustments. You can actually modify your aspect ratio from horizontal 16:9 to vertical 9:16 if you're mainly posting on social media like TikTok or Instagram. You can go straight to the point and avoid any post-processing or post-editing and just capture everything vertical. But one of the benefits of the Pro Mode is that this decision is not final. Using the Studio App, we can go back and forth between these aspect ratios. But having said that, if your end goal is just to post straight from the camera into your smartphone and into the internet, you might as well skip the Studio App and select your aspect ratio there. Now, I personally recommend selecting 1440p. That will be the actual resolution of that exported video. 2560 by 1440p, that's pretty much 2K, so to speak. But the cool thing about recording in Pro Mode with the Insta360 GO 2 is that the actual video is 2688 by 2688. So it's a square. And when leveraging the Insta360 Studio App, you have control over your resolution, your aspect ratio, and your stabilization, which we're going to dive into in a moment. I personally like to film almost everything at 50 frames per second when I'm shooting with the Insta360 GO 2 because I'd rather have all the frames available and then slow things down for B-roll sequences. And if I don't need it, I can always default down to 25 frames per second or 24 depending on my project. You can also select from the Insta360 GO's charging case the field of view, which opens up the door for you to be able to get that specific action camera look, or maybe you want things to look a little bit different, maybe close up with the linear mode or the narrow, your choice. I personally shoot everything at ultra wide and then make those adjustments as I need them using the Insta360 Studio App. Now, one of the most important settings in my opinion is going to be your color profile. You do have the option to keep everything standard or vivid right from the camera, and that helps you with the editing because you honestly don't have to do much to that footage once it's captured. If you're just looking to post on social media and minimize your editing, just simply record at your standard natural profiles or even vivid. But if you're looking to color grade your video and achieve a specific look, then I recommend the log color profile. This gives you higher dynamic range. It gives you the option to make adjustments to your highlights, your mids, and your lows, and then achieve that color look that you're looking for. Now, once your videos are captured and you're ready for import, you can easily transfer your videos to your smartphone, or in this case, the Insta360 Studio App. And it's honestly super simple. All you got to do is plug in your Insta360 GO 2 to your computer and just literally drag and drop your footage into the Studio App. Once your videos are in the Insta360 Studio App, you can actually batch export, which is fantastic if you've already made all those adjustments in camera and you just simply want to export. You can select them all, right click and batch export. Now in the meantime, I'm just simply going to drag and drop one clip into the Insta360 Studio App, and automatically you can see that the app took care of that clip. If I were to just simply open up the clip outside of the Insta360 Studio App, you can see the original size and structure of that clip. And it's crazy because it's super shaky, it's a square, it looks ugly, it reminds me of like old school skateboarding videos with like, you know, that fisheye look. And at times, if you encounter this while importing your footage, it can be discouraging. So make sure you're either importing them to the Insta360 Studio App, or you can also use the Insta360 mobile app on your smartphone. And before we continue, This episode is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. And this is super relevant because there are a lot of photo editing classes, video editing classes in Skillshare that I'm 100% sure will get you started or inspire you to continue editing video with your Insta360 GO or any other camera that you currently own. And actually, while I'm taking a break from editing this video, I'm taking a food photography class by Daniel Krieger, and it's really awesome and insightful to see other creators in their element sharing their insight and their perspective. Skillshare classes are specifically curated for learning, so there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes. So you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And the best part is that it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. No matter what 2021 brings, you can spend it creating something beautiful and meaningful with Skillshare online classes. And I'm very excited because the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership so you can start exploring your creativity. Thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. Now, by default, your videos will be in the aspect ratio that you chose, but one of the benefits of recording in Pro Mode is that you can modify this after the fact. You can actually hover over to the aspect ratio button and switch that to 1:1, 16:9, or 9:16 if you're doing portrait video. On top of that, at the top right, you have the option to enable or disable flow state stabilization and even change the kind of stabilization the program will perform based on the actual placement of your camera. So if you were vlogging, you can do regular flow state stabilization, but if you were using the pendant or any wearable accessory in order to film with your Insta360 GO 2, you can actually choose FPV stabilization and it performs a completely different stabilization for that specific action. It makes it look a little bit more fluid, a little bit more natural. In my opinion, this is one of the best implementations I have seen in any camera so far that Insta360 has made. Take a look at this clip without any image stabilization whatsoever. And this is me being careful, practically ninja walking, not really, but I was very careful. I wasn't running, I wasn't, doing any sporadic movements. But the moment I enable flow state stabilization, things look buttery smooth, drone-like, and that is the most impressive thing. And it's so smart and efficient that they actually take a square video and just pretty much keep everything well put together. It's just the software, in this case, the image stabilization, it's just next level in my opinion. In this same area, you also have the option to change your field of view. Now, one of the perks of shooting in Pro Mode is that you can make those adjustments during or after you record your video. We selected our field of view originally as ultra wide, but if we want to make adjustments, maybe we want to change the way our footage looks, we want to get a little closer or a little bit more narrower, we have that option. And it's really cool that you have the option to switch it back and forth and get that action camera view that kind of like stretches the edges and it gives you that kind of fisheye look. You also have the narrow option, which allows you to crop in and eliminate some of that distortion in the edges, and it's very useful for interviews or just stationary shots. For example, if you're trying to create B-roll from like a cooking show or a tabletop, maybe you're doing an unboxing, narrow will eliminate a little bit of that distortion towards the edges since it's cropping into the center. Now, once you made all the necessary adjustments, all you really have to do is export the footage. And sometimes I personally go straight to the export if I've made all the adjustments in my camera before I start recording. But sometimes you might get surprised by the different field of view options. And of course, if you're trying to come up with different aspect ratios, this would be the time to do so. Now, in order to get the best quality of your Insta360 GO videos, you want to export at 2560 by 1440. But if you're looking to keep things consistent with other cameras or your overall project, you do have the option to do your 1920 by 1080. And one of the coolest things that the Insta360 GO 2 brings to the table when exporting in the Studio app is that you can export your videos not only in H.264, which is appropriate for YouTube and social media networks, but you can also do H.265 for high efficiency devices or even ProRes, which retains a lot of the information that H.264 or H.265 compression performs on your videos. So if you're looking to get the best looking video out of your Insta360 GO 2, I highly encourage you to export at ProRes 422. Keep in mind that this will make your video substantially larger, so make sure you have enough room, but ProRes 422 is definitely going to maintain a lot of its original qualities without compromising on the bitrate, and it's just overall going to give you a higher ceiling when you're looking to color grade or edit your video. But I want to know what you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you have any questions or suggestions, drop them down there so we can continue to create relevant content for you. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my Insta360 GO 2 video. As always, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Stay safe, and I'll catch you on the next one.